So the question of the day for me just so happens to be, is F1 racing boring? What's up, my peoples? This is the Big Ticket, here to talk to you about all things motorsports, all things racing, whatever. It doesn't really matter, but welcome to the channel. And before I do start with the topic of the day, the topic question, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and show your boy some love. Now, stepping into it, the real question of the day is, like I said, is Formula One boring racing? Now, don't get me wrong. There have been, some boring moments in racing that really start to tilt your head different ways on the topic, on the opinion. But the way I see it is this: why on earth would the fastest motorsports in racing altogether, aside from maybe air racing or whatnot, what the fastest motorsport in the world, why on earth would it be considered boring? Why on earth do people even try to consider it boring? It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. It's a flawed argument. They try, obviously, yes, there are some things that take away from the excitement. Don't get me wrong about that, to the point where, it's like the games that have microtransactions. Formula One is basically like pay to win in some ways, Now, of course, there have been different generations of dominating vehicles. At one point, Ferrari was dominant. Another point, Red Bull was dominant. And at another point, Mercedes was dominant. So obviously there are clear, times when different companies are dominant. And I mean, I guess at that time, different companies were ahead in the money game and in the, technology advancement game. So that therefore that was able to give them, that range and actually let them become the leaders and become the champions that they are. But then again, there are the drivers as well who showcase so many great skills, so many great talents, all the things that we look for in racing and in racing car drivers. There's always heated battles, especially definitely rivalries, not only between teammates, but between other teams as well, especially when, guys are trying to showcase that they are better than the other driver. That basically kind of goes along, always, but still. And at, the speed that Formula One is even, conducted at, oh my goodness, it's ridiculous to think of all this stuff rolling at 215 miles an hour, just talking like everything is normal, the conversations with your teams, whatever, all that stuff, talking like everything is fine, and literally just going at it. The G-forces that go into racing and all that stuff that you got to worry about with Formula One that you don't have to worry about with other road racing. There's so much that goes into it, and sometimes people don't seem to understand it. And it's a leader in innovation. Because of Formula One, there have been plenty of innovative things that come along with it. Hybrid systems and all that stuff that end up coming along from Formula One and, that type of high-speed racing in the Formula racing world. Another thing, it's still dangerous. It is still dangerous. It is still, I don't want to say it's the most dangerous, but it is still definitely at the top of the list. It is some of the most dangerous racing in the world. And I don't mean to bring this up, but clear case in point, Romain Grosjean, when he had his incident at, I forgot what track that was, but he had his incident, he had his crash, had his accident. That right there is a clear-cut example. That was 2020, don't get me wrong, but there are so many more examples of different instances where dangerous conditions and dangerous things happen to drivers, man, especially in Formula One. Another thing, Formula One, it can't be boring. It can't be boring because of the fans, the devout fans of Formula One. Don't get me wrong, the viewership of it has dwindled over time. It has dwindled over time as we start seeing, kind of patterns. Don't get me wrong on that. You guys, all the people who think it's boring, you guys definitely have that argument, okay? The viewership has gone down across streams, across TV, because it is at some times steady. It is at sometimes, it's like a defined time frame on how things work. You know what I'm saying? Guys are more, if it's a 55 race lap, no, you're not going to see action the entire freaking race. You're not going to see that. If it's 82 laps, you're not going to see action the entirety of the race. You are going to see action at the beginning, first 10 laps, then everybody's going to kind of try and conserve after that, try and maybe get a couple positions, maybe some people might attack, some people might not. Okay, and then towards, the middle of the race, once everybody comes in, gets their fresh tires and starts back up again. But you got to understand how racing works in order for you to understand why Formula One is not boring. Now, don't get me wrong. To the everyday watcher, I could see that it's not going to be interesting, except like I just stated, in the first few laps and in the last few. But for the people who are race fans and who understand the object behind racing, it's not boring. It's not boring. Who understand that, the strategies that go into when it's time to pit, why you should stay out longer while the safety car is down, while the virtual safety car is down. Like, it's all that kind of stuff that goes into watching Formula One that's, the everyday viewer doesn't watch. So yes, to the everyday viewer, I can understand why you say that Formula One racing is boring. But to the people who actually know what they're watching and who actually understand the type of racing and the shit that's going on behind the scenes, or not necessarily behind the scenes, but the type of shit that's going on, with these drivers in these helmets, who understand, different strategies, who understand the different components that go into Formula One racing and shit like that. I mean, no, I'm not like an expert or anything, but I understand enough to understand that it is not boring racing, and is by far some of the most, interesting, competitive, and by far the fastest motorsport out there. And I mean, yeah, I talked about devout fans, and obviously, those things are those things are down now. Those things are definitely down simply because COVID, and we don't know when that's going to stop affecting us, and we don't know when that's going to stop affecting things in general. But hey, it's that kind of stuff that kind of puts a wrench in plans and stuff like that. But seeing how the 2021 season is going to rope up, and they're going back worldwide and taking on the entirety of the world and really making it a world championship, I most definitely cannot wait for 2021, the Formula One season to start. And I know fully well it ain't going to be boring. And by golly, I know there's going to be fans out there, and I can't wait to see everything kind of go back into a normal realm. Obviously, there's still going to be, COVID-related stuff that we still have to go through and deal with, but I cannot wait. That's it for me, man. Peace. Have a wonderful day. Catch your vibes, whatever. If you enjoyed, feel free to hit that like button, as well as hit that subscribe button and join the Notify Me squad, man. It's, the best way to help a brother out, and it's the best way to be notified of new uploads and new videos. And if you enjoyed, please let me know down in the comment section down below. Peace.